Hello everybody and everybody hello, welcome back to the show. So today we're going to be going over my Magician PvE build. I'll be going into detail about my stats, not as heavily, but I'll be going into detail about my stats, my items, my goal for building because this build is not complete, and my skills. We're going to go into a lot more detail about the skills and the stats that your items individually give you, but let's just start off with my stats in and of themselves, okay? That cowboy just knocked out. Look at him, sleeping on the job. Okay, so I'm going to give a basic rundown of what my stats are here as for my Magician, and then we're going to hop over to the left and actually go over the items real fast. So my primary attributes, my strength and physical attack is increased by 277.8%, and my intelligence increased with magic attack being at 350.3%, agility, physical defense plus 1,538, then physical crit plus 14.6%. My spirit, and this is showing you, in addition to, I need y'all to understand, these are the stats: strength, intelligence, agility, spirit, and physique, and then next to them, what I'm reading off is actually showing you what it does for you. So next to spirit, my magical defense is at 1,900, my magic crit rate is at 17.4%, and my physique, my health, is at 277.2%. Now if you look to the right, you'll actually be able to see strength, intelligence, agility, spirit, physique, and it'll show you the raw numbers, which do actually transition and transfer over to the percentage. For example, my strength is 2778. My strength physical attack increase is 277.8%. Do you see that? 2778 raw number, percentage is 277.8. Intelligence 3,503 raw number, intelligence percent increase is 350.3%. You kind of see what I'm saying. So let's keep moving down. My physical attack deals skill multipliers at 1783. Now you can see, I will leave this up for a second. I'll just scroll slowly so you can kind of look over it and see for yourself. I feel it's very tedious to go over every single one of these items individually myself, because this is just the percentages versus the raw stats that you can see on the side, which I will tell you my raw stats on the side here. I have max health at 144,828. My nullification, which is extremely important, is for the end game, which you will find out about that later. Well, you actually heard a little bit about it in the last video I made. Is at 6,040. My physical attack is at 1783. Magic attack 6263. Physical defense shred 915, and respectfully magic defense shred 915. Physical defense itself is 3166, magic defense is 3170. Physical damage reduction 16.2%, magic damage reduction at 15.9. Alright, so the next thing I want to look at is my actual build. Now I'm not going to start with the helmet, I'm going to start with the gear underneath it, purely and only because this is the gear I'm trying to build into. It's the set I'm working on. The helmet does not go with the set that I'm working on. Now I'll explain a little bit more about that as I open them up. So we're going to start with the breastplate. Phantasmal prison dress plus 10. Now you definitely want to work on enhancing your gear as you get them, but the set that I'm going for is the prison set. So I am a prison magician, if you will. If you look at the main attributes, which is what you should look at initially, of course, it tells you what it does for you. Physical defense, strength, intelligence, and physique. In additional attributes, it shows you the nullification, as well additional things that it does for your specific class. This is a class set. This is the class set I choose to use because it has the things that I want inside of it. So you see the nullification, the magic crit, the damage res, crit damage, but what I'm looking at when I look for a set is my best in slot is what does it do for my magician. Now this does Everlasting Dream level +1. So my skill Everlasting Dream will get +1 to its level. Now it's showing you underneath that, by the way, that helps me because it's a skill that I'm actively using. Make sure that when you put on a set and when you're getting a set and going for a set, the skill that's on the set is a skill that you want to use. Because if it's not, then the set's not fully doing what you want it to do. It's not helping you to complete the damage that you need to do and get that burst output or that damage over time output. And I'll go into that a little bit as well with the skills, because he does have a skill that does damage over time if you go into that skill. So each set has additional effects based on how many pieces you have, and underneath its first little descriptor there with the everlasting dream, it shows you what it will give you per piece if you have that many pieces. So right now I only have 4 out of the 5. I'm working on getting the 5th piece, but we'll get that eventually. So with 2 pieces, all my level 1 to 35 active skills get a +1 to their level. Now, in addition to that, another shot at specifically for Magician, after becoming invisible with Body Double, which is a skill I love, you deal 12% more skill damage for 10 seconds. Now that is important. I'm going to go over why that's important again later, but I will briefly state it. When you use Body Double, all but one of your skills will disengage the double. Now the Body Double itself does do attacks as well, which is important for your awakened skill. Again, we'll get into that later. Now, 4 piece set effect, the skill damage is upped by 3.8%, and in addition, another skill specifically, Legimain Bleak Illusion, gets a +1 to its level. Luck Fingertip Cascade deals certain debuffs +4% damage to enemies affected by status effects. Effects stack with multiple status effects. So that is just on one, like that is what I'm getting for having all 4 of those pieces, in addition to what this one piece does for me. So in essence, I won't have to go down and break down every single piece of the prison set, but I'll show you that each one has their own thing. For example, the gloves, Blazing Trick +1 level. Okay, and you can see the additional effects that it shows for the set that it said on the last piece as well. The pants, Ephemeral Quartet damage +40%, but base cooldown does increase by 3 seconds. That's something to keep in mind too, and that's a very amazing skill. The shoes, the boots, the fewer targets hit by Shapeshift magic, which I will show you that of course, the higher damage up to 50% when attacking a single enemy. This skill also hits twice, so that's important to know. Now, the other parts of my gear are not for this set just yet, but the goal is the prison set fully. But to explain what I have now on, so you can see what's giving me this damage output and what have you, when I will go into the training and show you the damage output, because I'm going to showcase the skills as well that I use. We have the Flaming Comet helmet. Now, you'll see that this is a Starbreaker set. This is not something for me, so this is not something I want to keep. I want to replace this with the prison helmet. Then we have the Sunlight Talisman. Again, something for the gunner, but I needed the damage. I needed the stat increase, but I'm going to replace this. My Codex of Eternal Imprisonment. You can see what it does based on the effects. Now, the Codex is important to note something. The Codex's level by itself is determined by how many pluses you have on your gear. It adds all the pluses up. The plus 10, 12, 10, 9, 10, 9, 12, 13, 12, 9, and 13 all get added up to accumulate that level of 119. And it's showing you all the different stats it gives you as you level it up. I'm not sure what the max is apparently 275. This is new to me. I never actually looked at that. So we're learning something together right now. So the max is 275. That's the highest you can get that. My Void Phantom Seal. Now, the seal, the Codex, and the Talisman are something that you unlock as you gradually level up if you are not at the end game. 55 and 60 respectfully, I believe is how it goes for each one of those pieces. Now, this is the seal that I'm using, the Void Phantom Seal. It doesn't do anything specific to my class, but I have it at +9. The Educator's Ring +13. Now, Bracers of Ud's Will. I will actually go over this one. So, attacks apply Scorch. This gives me an additional way to do damage. So when I'm using my attacks and I'm using my skills and Scorch is being applied, it is also giving me an additional set of damage on top of the Ephemeral giving me a dot as well, which that hits hard and does a dot, so that's fantastic. Then I'm using the Void Phantom Necklace, have that at +9. And my Scepter of Wondrous Dragon at +12, which we're working on upgrading this as well. Now this one does have stuff specifically for my Magician. Love it. Legimain Bleak Illusion, cooldown -10%. Now we're gonna look at the skills. So I use Legimain Wonderland Legend. Now, what this does, and again, I will go into the training to show you these actively, but right now I'm just going to break down what it actually does. The Magician unveils a curtain of the Grand Carnival, entering Stage Frenzy for 30 seconds. In this state, all of your attacks become long range. They become ranged attacks. He legitimately throws the cards forward. Think like Gambit. He throws the cards forward. Now, while he's throwing the cards forward, other cards appear out of the sky and they come down as well. That is your basic regular attack. So understand that. Again, that is your basic regular attack at that point once you activate the skill. All of your other skills will also do additional damage. And at the end of Stage Frenzy, upon ending Stage Frenzy, it does an additional attack. It does a huge area of effect attack that hits just about everybody. You got it. There are some ways to get around that, like for some of the enemies might be out of the range. It does happen. It does an increased amount of damage. It does a heavy load of damage in a big area. And you can see the skill effect. My current level, actively casting the skill goes up to 11,520% of my magic damage stat. And Stage Frenzy deals 156% additional magic damage. The next thing that I use is Bleak Illusion. Now, and when you first get into the Magician, you do start off with the Tornado. I threw that away as soon as I could. Once I got Bleak Illusion, I threw that away. So basically, it's an area of effect attack. You go up in the air, you basically go inside of a coffin-like case, you drop down, it opens up, and you appear outside of it. You were never in there to begin with. It's an illusion. This does an area of effect. You can actually see where it's going to land. You can aim it, or you can tap it and do it fast. It will always be directly in front of you. It does do, right now, where I have it leveled up to, it does 9,024% magic damage in total. Now let's look at my basic skills. So the one on the left, where the blue one is, or the blue line, that's my first set of skills. So when I actually go to activate my skills, these are the ones that are there first. Levitation magic. I'm not going to read the skill description because it's just kind of silly. Essentially, you throw cards forward and you don't have to actively still like hold the button. You throw a card forward and it creates like a dome of cards going back and forth, left and right. It's just crisscrossing everywhere. It's a small area of effect, but what it does also do is it drags enemies into the center. So that is something to take note of. Now after that, I have it set up for Ephemeral Quartet. The Magician pulls up his cane and plays it like a flute. Actually, I think he pulls up a flute, in fact. And bubbles go forward. The bubbles that go forward, they hit, they rest, and they explode after a certain amount of time, doing additional damage on the explosion and doing a dot because I actually spec'd into it having a poison effect. Magician's Gift is the next one. The Magician jumps up in the air and throws a set of 3 cards down once and then does it again because how I have the skill set into it. I personally leveled it, put in a point to level it where he does it again, and then he lands. The next thing that I have with that is Everlasting Dream. Now I want to explain this because this skill, you walk forward and you cast an area of effect around you where it puts enemies to sleep. Do not expect this to put in-game bosses to sleep. I have not seen it work that way, personally, and it's possible that I just didn't see it because there was so much going on the screen. But it can do up to 10 hits in total with how high I have it set as far as its level is concerned. It is level 7. Each hit dealing 653% magic damage. Now here's the thing, this is what's important. Even though it doesn't put in-game bosses to sleep, like in the Void, the big bosses, not the little mini dudes that you fight or whatever, but even though it doesn't put them to sleep, it does a lot, and I mean a lot of damage. Now again, as I'm going over these skills, I want y'all to understand something. These are my suggestions. This is how I've built. This is what's made the game good and easy and smooth for me. This is my build. This is just a suggestion. Now, body double. Basically what you do is you jump backwards. Think Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. When he makes his ice clone, he jumps back out of it. You jump backwards and you become invisible. Now your double will do basic attacks. It will not cast skills. It will not cast skills. It will only do basic attacks, but it will consistently do basic attacks. It will do the entire combo. Now I said this was important Because if you remember, with this skill, your basic attacks become ranged attacks. When you pop this Awakened skill, Wonderland Legend, and then you pop your body double, and I will show you, your body double does its basic attacks the same exact way as you do in Wonderland Legend. Now, that being said, whenever you have the body double out, if you do a skill, it will cancel the body double. So say I do my body double, and then I decide to do Everlasting Dream. The body double vanishes. It just goes away. The only exception that I have found to that is when I cast body double, if I do Ephemeral Quartet, the body double will stay there and continue attacking while I'm playing the flute. It does not vanish, which, let me tell you, is pretty freaking nice, because it's still doing damage, and if there are like lesser minions or whatever around, it will grab their attention. It does pull the aggro. Body double does in fact pull aggro from bosses as well. It does pull aggro from bosses. After body double, I have Shapeshift Magic. So basically, you cast a curtain of light, knocking enemies in a circular range into the air and turning them into harmless rabbit dolls. And basically, it slams down as well. I'm not sure why it doesn't show that, but it does slam down. This does a lot of damage, but if I don't have Wonderland Legend up and I just want to do like a guap of damage, I will cast body double, and if Ephemeral Quartet is not up, I will go straight into Shapeshift Magic if I'm fighting a boss, because again, I have that item that increases this specific item's or specific skill's damage for a lot. It just increases it a lot. On top of that, after I cast this for a few seconds, it will in fact make the next spell that I cast do more damage. So I'm just stacking additional damage on top of one another. It's just one thing after the other. Boom, 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 stack, 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 stack. So it's also very possible to cast body double and then to cast Bleak Illusion if you just want to throw out a lot of damage really fast. In addition, do not cast body double before casting Wonderland Legend. It will negate body double. It will completely negate it. The last skill I have is Stage of Malice. Have you ever seen a carousel? The thing at a carnival where it's like porcelain horses and whatnot, and you sit on it and it goes in a circle. So imagine all those porcelain horses and things of that nature appearing above your head when you jump in the air, and then you launch them at the enemies. Does AoE damage. Now the way I have it set up, I skilled into having an additional hit on it. So I'll drop all that on there, and then the additional hit is I jump forward and slam down with one more carousel creature. It's kind of like stuffed animals being thrown at them. Does a lot of damage. The additional slam down gives you a jump forward. There is a timer on it, so you don't have to do it immediately. Typically I do it immediately, but you don't have to. You can set it up. The timer's quick though, so you gotta be on top of that. Now after that skill, I have Blazing Trick. It summons 5 slow flying sparks. When the sparks touch an enemy, they burst into raging fire, dealing damage over time. So you saw that I had an item, and I went over one of the prison items that increased this from 5 to 7. So that's 7. Now again, these are slow. So part of the trick with this specific attack is either knocking someone up, knocking them down, or placing yourself in front of them so you can make sure that you're hitting them with as much of the damage as you can. So again, when I do this, even if I don't do the additional jump afterwards, this flattens people. It just straight knocks them down. It can pop them on occasion, but typically it flattens them. Now let's look at the passive skills. So this skill essentially just raises your magic attack power. That's pretty much all it does. And I have it at level 4. Handy Poker. Oh my god. So this one took me a while to get my mind wrapped around. I'm going to try to explain this one as best I can. I was shorthanded a little bit, but it's something I'm going to have to actually have to show you guys, because it's not something to just say and leave out there. So essentially, when you play the Magician, at the bottom of your screen in the center, if you're playing on PlayStation 5 on controller, there are the suits of cards, hearts, diamonds, spades, and clubs, just at the bottom. They're randomized as you attack. When you use a skill, each skill has a suit on it. it will proc however many of that suit that is in your hand, because that's what it's supposedly saying. You have those cards in your hand. You're drawing out of a deck. It will proc a buff based on whatever suit that skill is. So if you go to clubs, you play the card during basic attack and stack Luck of Clubs for 60 seconds. Each stat grants 0.4% damage bonus and 2 cooldown rate, stacks up to 40 times. Clubs is typically your basic attack. Your basic attack itself does have a suit attached to it. Diamond, play the card when casting a diamond skill, reducing the cooldown of the skill by 4% times the number of diamond cards drawn. So if you have a lot of diamonds drawn in your hand and you cast this, you cast a diamond skill, you're going to reduce that specific skill's cooldown by quite a bit. Hearts, when casting a heart skill, increase the damage of this skill by 3% times the number of heart cards drawn. So again, you're looking at your hand, and if you have a bunch of hearts and you drop a heart skill, you're going to buff that skill the next time to an insane degree. So this is just basically stating the Dexterous Fingers, the Magician's cards skills are improved when drawing cards of the same suit. They will appear in pairs. So basically it's saying that you're getting a better buff as you draw your cards. Double Down. Magician's Gift now throws cards twice while in mid-air. So that's the jump that I was telling you. When you throw the cards down, this is the skill I spec'd into where I could do it twice. He jumps, he throws cards down twice. Deep Sea Jellyfish. Sounds funny, but it makes sense. So this is what allows Ephemeral Quartet to poison enemies. It poisons for 15 seconds. Time delay. Shapeshift magic can delay enemies for 15 seconds. So these are all, most of these, not all these, are buffs to the skills that I have. Mesmerize. Levitation magic inflicts vulnerable on enemies for 15 seconds. Hardened Props. For the Stage of Malice, that's the finishing hit you get. That's the one that allows you to jump forward. Elegant Steps. While casting Everlasting Dream, my move speed is increased. So basically what this is doing for me is when I'm walking with Everlasting Dream, because he pulls out a little pocket watch and does a little hypnosis thing and creates that radial effect. While I'm walking with that, I can walk faster, so I can try to trap more people in that skill. Burning After Heat. Inflicts Scorch on enemies for 15 seconds, which that was granted to me by an item. Light Armor Master. So this is something that's important, and no matter what class you're playing, when you go to your skills, you're going to want to look at this. When wearing light or flex armor, gain a bonus attributes. This is affected by the armor's level and quality and enhancement level. So basically it's showing me what additional buffs I'm getting when I use armor that is light armor or flex armor. For me, it's intelligence plus 165, physique 165, magic crit plus 5%, and cooldown rate plus 41.4. Special quick recovery. When energy is less than 1 gauge, you can use Special Quick Recovery, which will consume all current energy. And it basically, what Special Quick Recovery is if you get knocked into the air or you're stuck in an attack that's just repeatedly hitting you, you can use this and it'll pull you out of the attack and give you like invincible frame for maybe not even a second. It's maybe closer to 0.5 seconds. I don't know the exact number on it, but it's very quick, and you need to use that. You need to use this to escape. Nothing else. Escape and dash out. Again, this is for PvE, not PvP. Okay, now that we're here, I'm going to show you guys in the training area what these skills actually look like. Before I go into that, you can see at the bottom, in the middle, like I told you, those are supposedly the cards I have in my hand. 4 hearts, 2 clubs, 1 diamond. In addition to that, the training area does have a time limit on it, which it will reset everything, so don't really pay mind to that. I'm just going to show you the skills in sequence. Alright, so as we said, this is when we're jumping up, and as you can see it's ticking. I hit him once, he's scorched. So that's what the scorch effect is. I'm going to use my square. You saw the double down, I did it twice. Alright, it's back up. I'm going to use it again, just to show you one more time. That's how that looks. Now I'm going to show you what I mean about the body double. I'm going to do my body double, I'm going to dash backwards, I'm invisible. Body double continues to attack, but if I do a skill, body double vanishes. We'll go more into that in a second, but I really wanted to show you that right out the gate. So we're going to show the combo that I have set up with this, with Everlasting Dream. Pop, Everlasting Dream, walk forward. That area effect is huge. Mind you, it's very huge. but you don't walk that fast. Even with the buff, you do not walk that fast. Now that has a huge cooldown, so we'll go back to that in a second. Next, we're gonna go to my triangle. If there were enemies on the edges that would have been hit, they would have been pulled to the center. Okay? Now after that, we have Ephemeral Quartet. This is what that looks like. You can see the bubbles going, and they do damage on hit and on explosion, and then he has the debuff with poison, and you can actually see the poison tick and the poison debuff under his health. Now, as I said, with the body double, that is the only skill that will not take the body double out. So I will show you that. I will show it to you actively. Jump back into the body double. That takes the body double out. Jump back into the body double. Ephemeral. Body double's still there. I'm doing a skill. This is the only skill that I'm aware of that the body double will not vanish on. Next, I'm going to show you those giant carousel creatures. That's the skill regularly, the area effect. That is the dash in. Now I have a large cooldown on that, so the next thing I'm going to show you is the flames. I'm going to stand at a distance so you can see the flames travel though, so you can see how the skill actually looks. So that's what happens there. Now notice that he has 2 flames on him because he not only got the damage over time from the flames of my skill, but he got the damage over time from the scorch. This is how I'm able to stack damage like crazy, by the way. These things, I'm doing heavy damage on hit, and I'm doing heavy damage over time. I'm not sacrificing damage on hit for damage over time. I'm just doing heavy in both. I'm waiting for the timer to go out, and I'm going to start the next set of explanations. Alright. So now I'm going to show you my ultimates. We have the illusion. And that's just how that looks. Now, let's look at this. Remember when I said the body double will do all your basic attacks, but you do not cast the skill before or after casting the body double? So I'm going to cast my next Awakening ultimate. These are my attacks now. You can see the timer next to me, right under Terrible Tornado. Now I'm going to cast my body double. He is doing the exact same style of attack, much faster. Now I can do it with him, and we can stack it. Now you can still do all your skills that you normally would. They do enhanced damage. Now you want to do your finish to it. Bow. Cards rain from the heavens. Explosions. Destiny. It's crazy. Alright, so we're going to do a real run. We're going to do a real run, and I'm going to show you the damage output that I have with this class right now with my build being unfinished. That's important. My build is unfinished, and this is the damage output I currently have with this class. Let's look at it.
So much better. I feel so much better today. And it's not the drugs and it's not the weather. I just feel so much better today. I've been asleep in the driving seat. I've been lost in my head for weeks, trying to find what it is I need. Too goddamn tired of sleep. And then there are other times I'm so aware that I lose my mind. I never feel drugs and it's not the weather. I just feel so much better today. I've been asleep in the driver's seat. I've been lost in my head for weeks, trying to find what it is I need. Too goddamn tired to sleep. Those who will never learn, build a fire and can't stay warm. The only secret to make it through is to take what's in front of you. But fear of death and the thrill of speed and all the lights in front of me, all the lights in front of me. Drive till the coast is clear, faster through the thrill and the thrill of speed, and all the lights in front of me, feel the lights in front of me. Drive till the coast is clear.
All right, so at the end of it, I did 76,938 million, not 76,000, 76.938 million. And this is with me screwing up one of my rotations. On one of the rotations, I did not, in fact, pop my Awakening's full ultimate curtain close, which was my mistake, but this is with that mistake happening. Now, one thing I do like about the training is it shows you full on what does the most damage out of your kit. And you guys can see flat out Ephemeral Quartet, that slow bubble moving attack, did the most damage by itself. It did 554 million damage. It took up 19.9% of my damage. That attack, and I didn't even use it that often. I used it 6 times. 6 times. Now my basic attacks came in second because them boys be flying. And it's also counting the basic attacks with Wonderland Legend as well. It counts that inside of that. Blazing Trick did 2.101 million damage, coming in at 10%, 10.9%. My basic attack at 15.9. Levitation Magic, 9.9%. Only used it 8 times. I could have used it more. Everlasting Dream did 8.5% of the damage. Stays in Malice, 8.1. Ledgermane Wonderland Legend did 7.7. Bleak Illusion 6.5, Magician's Gift 5.9, Shapeshift 5.0. I didn't even use Psychic Rockfall, so I don't know why it's in there. But as you can see, this is how my damage comes out. This is the build that I use to create that damage, and this is the way that I do it. If you like this build, I'll be happy to do other builds when I do other characters and what have you. But right now, this is my main. But if you like this build, please give it a like, comment, subscribe. Check me out a little bit further in. I'm going to be doing more videos with Crystal Vatland as well as more content with other games. But in addition to that, guys, I want you to have a great day, morning, noon, or night, whatever it is, wherever you are. And as always, be blessed.